Chapter 9, Section 6, Part 2, Circumference of a Circle. At this point, I would recommend that you get a calculator or use the calculator function on your cell phone, because we will be doing some arithmetic that it would be helpful to have a calculator on or to use. Relationship between diameter and circumference. These are the two easiest things to measure on a circle: diameter and circumference. So, if we take a silver dollar and we measure its diameter, that's from one side of the circle through the center to the other side, that gives us a diameter. In this case, for a silver dollar, it's about 3.8 centimeters. The circumference is the distance around the edge of the circle. And if we measure that, we'll get 12 centimeters approximately. So the ratio of the diameter to the circumference, 12 divided by 3.8, works out to 3.1578, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's try something else. You may have not seen one of these before, but they're called a compact disc or a CD. Your parents used to have them when they were really little. And if we measure the diameter of a compact disc, we'll get that it's approximately 12 centimeters. If we measure the circumference of that compact disc, we'll get 37.7 centimeters. Again, finding the ratio of C to D, circumference to diameter, we get, this time, 3.1416. Let's do a table. If its diameter is 200 centimeters, and we measure its circumference and get 628.3 centimeters, if we find the ratio of the circumference to the diameter, or 628.3 divided by 200, again we're going to get 3.1415. So notice all of these are very close to each other. If we were talking in terms of money, we'd be talking like about $3.15 compared to $3.16. Not much of a difference. So all these ratios, regardless of the circle, the ratio of the circumference to the diameter basically remain the same. Again, we have to account for some measuring errors, not getting the exact circumference or the exact diameter. But when we do circumference divided by diameter, that's going to be equal to approximately 3.141592, which should sound familiar to you. That is pi. So the circumference of a circle divided by its diameter is equal to pi. Now, if we were to take that and manipulate it a little bit and multiply both sides by d, then our diameters on the left side will cancel out, and we'll have that the circumference is equal to pi times the diameter, which is a useful little tool if you're trying to find the circumference of a circle. And that's what we're basically going to be using today, is C is equal to pi times d. So you'll need to remember that. So we want to find the circumference of a circle with a diameter of 7 inches. And for our purposes, we're going to use pi as 3.14. But please remember that pi is not equal to 3.14. That's just an approximation. It's good enough for what most of us are going to do in everyday life. So if we have C is equal to pi times d, and we know that the diameter is 7, remember the diameter goes from one side through the center to the other, and we know that pi, we're going to use 3.14 for that. We whip out our calculators, we do 3.14 times 7, and we'll get that the circumference is approximately equal to 21.98 inches. I'd like you to take a moment and kind of look at the steps that we did. Notice at the very top, it started out with a regular equal sign. And on the second line, it had a regular equal sign. But from the second to the third, we switched to that wiggly equal sign, which means approximately equal to. What happens there is we went from an exact answer when we had pi, the symbol pi, to an approximation once we went to 3.14. So when you change from the pi symbol to 3.14, your equal sign will change to an approximately equal to sign. All right, so let's find the circumference of circles with a given diameter d or a radius r. Use 3.14 for pi. All right, so we have r is equal to 20 millimeters. We're going to use c is equal to pi times d. Now, we don't have the d, we have the r. But remember, it takes two r's, two radii, to make a diameter. So we're going to do 3.14 times 2 times 20. Pull out your calculator, see what you get. Notice again that we switched from an equal sign to approximately equal once we switched from pi to 3.14. And if we do our math, we'll get 125.6 millimeters. Would you try number 3, please? Pause the video. Make sure you show your steps. You may use a calculator to do the arithmetic, but I want to see the steps. Okay, so circumference is equal to pi times d. We have d in this case, so we don't need to multiply by 2. So we've got pi, or circumference is equal to pi times 4.2. We're going to change the pi to 3.14, which also changes our equal sign. And if we do 3.14 times 4.2, we will get c is approximately 13.188 meters. Would you try number 4? Pause the video, come back when you're finished. Formula we're using is c is equal to pi times d. We don't have d here, they gave us r. So since they gave us r, we're going to need to multiply the r by 2 to get a d. So we'll have 3.14 times 2 times 7. When we do our calculations, we'll get 43.96 centimeters is the approximate length of the circumference. Would you try number 5? Pause the video, come back when you're ready. Okay, c is equal to pi times d. They gave us d, so we're going to do 3.14 times 6.3. Using our calculator, that'll give us c is approximately 19.782 meters. Number 6, would you please give that a try? Okay, so we have c is equal to pi times d. We don't have d, we have r, so we're going to have to multiply by 2. So we'll get pi is approximately equal to 3.14 times 2 times 0.49. So we'll get c is approximately equal to 3.0772 or 772 10,000ths, and that's decimeters, I believe. Would you try this one? C is equal to pi times d. C is equal to approximately equal to 3.14 times 5.4. C is approximately equal to 16.956 centimeters. And that's it. If you have any questions, bring them into the class or post them on Edmodo. Thank you very much.